Hello there. Boris Johnson's time as Prime Minister is over, but he doesn't have to worry about his finances, as a look at his predecessors shows. Britain has no higher office than that of Prime Minister, so Boris Johnson may have to turn his ambitions elsewhere. It is not yet known what his plans and what he plans to do after his life at 10 Downing Street. The Guardian recently reported that the Daily Mail newspaper had put out feelers to Johnson. Until shortly before he took office as Prime Minister on July 24th in 2019, Johnson was still a columnist for the conservative newspaper Daily Telegraph and received the equivalent of almost €320,000 a year for 10 hours of work a month, as the Guardian notes smugly. Johnson could certainly live off his annual income as a Member of Parliament, amounting to the equivalent of more than €75,000, and his pension entitlements as an ex-Prime Minister. These amount to half of the Prime Minister's salary, so that Johnson alone will receive almost €83,000 in annual pension in the future. In addition, the ex-Prime Minister is entitled to so-called pocket money of a maximum of €134,000 per year in order to fulfill his duties as a prominent public figure. That's quite a handsome income, the average citizen might think, but a look at the retirement life of Johnson's predecessor shows that there is more to come. Ex-Prime Minister Tony Blair, who led the country from 1997 to 2007, is particularly active. Just 3 months after his resignation, Blair signed a book deal for his memoirs and received more than €9 million as an advance alone. Shortly thereafter, it became known that the Labour politician had signed a consulting contract with the US bank JP Morgan Chase, and Blair's fee was the equivalent of €2.3 million annually. In October 2021, the so-called Pandora Papers threw a spotlight on the financial conduct of the ex-Prime Minister. The leaked documents revealed that Tony and his wife, Cherry Blair, bought a property in London in 2017 for the equivalent of more than £7 million through a shell company in the Virgin Islands. They then bought the mailbox company, liquidated it, and saved more than €360,000 in taxes. Such machinations are not documented by Blair's successor, Gordon Brown. The previous Chancellor of the Exchequer ruled Britain from 2007 to 2010. Brown remained a Member of Parliament until 2015, when he became the United Nations Special Envoy for Global Education. Brown is considered the most unpopular British Prime Minister of all time, so far, but has made a name for himself again in recent weeks as a harsh critic of the Conservative government in the face of massive increases in the cost of living. The cost explosion in the UK is mainly due to Brexit, a project that came about during the tenure of Brown's successor, David Cameron. The Conservative ruled Britain from 2010 to 2016 and resigned after Britain voted yes to leave the EU. Of course, Cameron didn't rely on his pension alone. From mid-2018 until the company collapsed in 2021, Cameron collected more than €1 million annually from Greensill Capital's financial advisors. As the Financial Times reported, Cameron was booked for a total of 25 days a year and received more than €40,000 for each. Cameron had made headlines with his finances before that. After the Panama Papers became public in April 2016, Cameron admitted that up until January 2020, he and his wife owned shares worth of €37,000 in his father's mutual fund. But he sold them before he took office. That's what Cameron said. Cameron recently made positive headlines again. In March, the politician organized a trip to Ukraine with relief supplies. Boris Johnson can also get tips on how to improve his pension from his direct predecessor and party friend Theresa May, who ruled Great Britain from 2016 to 2019. As a backbencher, May still sits in the lower house today and earns quite a bit with lectures and consulting contracts. In this way, May received the equivalent of almost €833,000 in the first half of 2022 alone, according to the website of the British Parliament. In his farewell speech in front of the government seat at 10 Downing Street, he gave an indication of how Johnson imagines his future. "Like Cincinnatus, I'm going back to my plough," he said, and immediately fueled speculation about possible comeback plans for the student of ancient historian. Cincinnatus was a Roman politician who was appointed dictator in 460 BC to repel an attack on Rome by enemy tribes. Subsequently, Cincinnatus is said to have returned to his plough as a simple farmer. But Cincinnatus' story didn't end there. In 439 BC, he was again appointed dictator to put down a popular uprising, which he did. British observers also interpreted Johnson's statement as an allusion to his great role model Winston Churchill. His political career seemed long over in the 1930s before he returned to government after the outbreak of World War II in September 1939 and finally became Prime Minister on May 10th in 1940. And not to forget the 50s. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.